Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the August 13th edition of the SmackDown review. My gosh, is this a horrible program in the sense of, this is on network television. There's no way in previous generations this would have made network television. There's some good things here. The Cena and Reigns face-to-face is probably the best thing they've done here. And probably an awesome segments. Fan react big to both of them as they are stars of generations. Cena comes out starting SmackDown. He gets a good reaction, and obviously they recap the feud between the two. Cena pointed out that Skull's back in and decides to give Reigns his report card. He gives Reigns a D and calls him a disappointment. Cena promised that he'd give Reigns an F at SummerSlam. Cena also decided to give fans a pop quiz. Fans broke into Cena chants during this. He asked the fans if they think Reigns will beat him at SummerSlam. Fans boo, and then Cena admitted Reigns would beat him up, but then he would win the title at SummerSlam. Universal Champion Roman Reigns and Heyman make their way down. Back from the break, Cena welcomed Reigns, and Reigns doesn't want to waste his time and tells Cena to get to it. Cena isn't going to waste time, but promises to beat Reigns in a week. He then adds that Reigns thinks the company belongs to him, but it really belongs to the fans. He said Reigns had failed over and over. Management protects him, and this leads the fans to chant that he sucks. Cena notes that it's either time for Team Roman or Team Cena at SummerSlam. Fans booed Reigns and break into "Let's go Cena" chant. Reigns is impressed. He's hoping that something new would come from Cena. Cena admitted Reigns had beat the heck out of him and mocked Reigns for using Superman Punch instead of, and insulted Heyman along the way. Cena knows that Reigns will beat him up and that he'll do everything to survive the pain of it all and beat Reigns 1, 2, 3. Fans chant 1, 2, 3 at him. Cena said he pointed out that if he wins the title, he'll be made a 17-time world champ, and he said he's back to help Reigns. Reigns talks about Cena's accomplishment and his movie career. He praised Cena and said he'd be on Mount Rushmore of wrestling one day. Reigns added that Cena's even good enough to win the championship, but not good enough to win the Universal Championship. Reigns then said the missionary position might be good for Cena, but he wasn't good enough for Nikki Bella, and the crowd does pop for this. Reigns note this might be the last time fans see Cena and promised to send him back to Hollywood. Cena shot back that Reigns had ruined Seth Rollins and ran Dean Ambrose out of WWE. He calls Reigns a failure and claims that he's protected. Cena made Reigns made fun of his teeth and noted he doesn't give up. Cena promised to win the title 1, 2, 3. He promised to leave the stadium with the title and blew a kiss goodbye to Reigns. Obviously, they're not going to put the belt on Cena, but it at least makes it seem like it's possible. King Nakamura with Boggs defeated Apollo Crews with Aziz to win the Intercontinental title 10:07. This match went about 5 minutes too long. Nakamura and Cruz did work hard. Fans are into it, and fans pop for the title change, but I think they pop more for the title change than the person who won it. Cruz scores a near fall. Nakamura takes over with a drop kick. He takes advantage until Aziz causes a distraction. Cruz is in control, blocks a superplex attempt. Boggs then jumped up on the apron and started playing guitar. Cruz jumps off the top turnbuckle and walked through. The referee sends Boggs to the back, causing a distraction, and fans boo Aziz and ultimately tried to sneak into the ring. Referee catches him and sends him to the back as well. Back from the break, Nakamura climbs the top rope. Cruz cuts him off, follows up with a superplex for near fall. Cruz then attempts a frog splash. Nakamura gets his knees up. Nakamura goes for the Kinshasa. Cruz cuts him off. Cruz tries a pin with the feet on the ropes, doesn't get anywhere. Cruz hits a German suplex for a near fall, follows up with a powerbomb for another, and Nakamura counters with the Olympic Slam, and then comes back with a flurry of offense. Nakamura scores another near fall and hits a release German suplex, then hits the Kinshasa to win the title to a decent pop. Boggs runs out to celebrate with Nakamura and McCaffrey. They recap the Alpha Academy and Street Profits thing. What a waste of time this was. In the back, Caleb Braxton interviews Street Profits. Ford talks about how Otis injures him weeks ago. Ford admits he's in pain. He couldn't even laugh. Dawkins adds that Ford is like family to him. Promised to get revenge on Gable and Otis. In the next segment, they do a match that's less than 2 minutes. What a waste of time. And Ford sends Gable into the corner, tags in Otis. Otis catches Ford, slams him down pretty hard. Dawkins then tries to take advantage, but Otis takes over. Otis beats him down and backs him into a corner. Otis hits a big splash and gives Gable a high five. Referee considers that's a tag. Ford then hits a dive over the top rope onto Otis. Dawkins hits a pop-up neckbreaker for the win. Rollins is in the production truck yelling at everyone. Rollins comes to the ring. Notes that Edge isn't in the building. Rollins claims to be disappointed too. The fans chant that they in fact want Edge. Rollins points out Edge called him Edge Light last week. Rollins admits that might be true, but he's better than Edge. Rollins then shows a package highlighting his career in Buried Edge. Edge is standing his career with a mediocre. He started his career with a mediocre group like the Brood, but Rollins made an impact debuting with the Shield. He then compared the first time he cashed in Money in the Bank and winning the Royal Rumble. Fans broke into another loud "We Want Edge" chant, and Rollins then feels Edge and the fans should thank him because he did injure Edge in 2014. Rollins notes that 2014 he changed. He's a changed man, and that he won't hesitate to end Edge's career at SummerSlam. Ray and Dominic discuss their upcoming match. Dominic is confident that they're going to win the titles. Ray told him not to think that way. He should stay focused. And then we have another short, useless match. Ray and Dominic Mysterio defeating Dolph Ziggler and Robert Rood. Match didn't get virtually any time because we don't really care about wrestling in WWE. Ray then catches Rood with a tilt-a-whirl head scissors and an early advantage. Ziggler causes a distraction, and Rood hits a backbreaker to take Ziggler. And Ziggler hits a clothesline in the corner, and then Rood follows up with a spine buster. Ziggler slows the pace with a chin lock. Heels isolate Ray in the corner. Ray fights back, hits a senton on Ziggler and Dominic. And then there's a hot tag. Dominic hits crossbody, near fall, and goes nuts. He knocks down Rood, knocks him off the apron, but Ziggler hits a famouser for a near fall. Dominic regains control and sets up 619. Usos appeared on the big screen, distracting Dominic. Rood tags himself in, tries to jump Dominic, but Ray pushes him out of the way. Dominic rolls up Rood for the win. Then we move to Baron Corbin coming to the ring. Cole noted the last time Corbin was here, he begged for money. Corbin talks about his recent problems. Fans cheered. I don't know why. Don't know why they're even buying this story. He claimed the last time he came to ask for money publicly, Corbin asked that he just needs $1,000 from each fan tonight. He then had a credit card scanner with him. McCaffrey asked, how does a homeless person have such a machine? Kevin Owens interrupts and then makes his way to the ring. Corbin says he knows why Owens is here, but doesn't know if the scanner accepts Canadian credit cards. Owens noted that Corbin shouldn't be asking fans for money. He pointed out Corbin ruined Finn Balor's SummerSlam title shot, and the first mention of Balor tonight, Owens mentions Corbin went to Raw and begged McIntyre for money, and Owens agreed to give Corbin's money if he needs it, if he can beat him tonight. Owens then added that if he wins, Corbin has to stop begging for money. Corbin agrees, but got in Owens' face, and Owens had enough and gave Corbin a stunner. Sasha Banks prepares for the upcoming contract signing because, well, hey, we have to do those at least every other week on a WWE program. Anyway, Owens and Corbin have a nice enough match. However, it's a waste of time and probably went 5 minutes longer than it should have. Corbin is hurting from the stunner. He gets a near fall on Owens anyway. Recovers. Corbin hits some chops in the corner. Corbin fights back and goes for around the corner clothesline. Owens hits a super kick. Owen then hits a cannonball in the corner for a near fall. Owens then climbs the top rope, but Corbin cuts him off. Corbin knocks Owens to the floor and tries to win by countout, but Owens beats the count. Owens then blocks a suplex on the apron and goes for a pile driver. Corbin then reverses and gives Owens a backdrop on the apron. Back from the break, Owens and Corbin's fight on the top turnbuckle. Owens then hits Corbin and hits a swanton bomb for near fall. Corbin then fights back and hits a choke slam for a near fall of his own. Owens then fights back with forearms and a headbutt. Corbin recovers and hits the deep six for a near fall. Corbin rolls Owens up and gets to his feet and hits 2 count. Corbin avoids stunner, but Owens fights back and uses sunset flip for the win. Post-match, Owens gives Corbin another stunner. Bianca Belair is playing a game with Big E. Michael Cole notes that Big E could cash in on any champion he wants. And back from the break, Kayla Braxton interviews Corbin in the back and asked him what's next after losing to Owens. He's distraught, but noticed Big E. He ran over and stole a briefcase and runs with it. And then we go to this stupid contract signing. It's basically the typical thing. DeVille hosts the signing. She introduces Banks right away. Fans gives Banks a reaction. Belair comes out and she gets a big pop as well. Belair notes Banks could just ask for the title shot instead of backstabbing her. Banks points out Belair used her ponytail and gives her a scar at WrestleMania. They start arguing until DeVille stopped them. She notes contract signings have been getting out of hand, and DeVille demanded that they both sign. Banks teased signing, but felt she needed some witnesses. Carmella and Zelina Vega make their way out because, well, we just need to get extra people on the show. Banks calls Belair a rookie and said she's always 2 steps ahead. Banks signed the contracts. Belair signed and threw the contract in her face. Belair then brawled with all 3 heels. She flips over table and it landed on Banks. Belair beats down Banks and then threw Carmella and Vega out of the ring. Banks recovered, hit the backstabber on Belair, and then she threw Belair over the table. Banks then pulls Belair by the ponytail and catches her with a knee. Banks then poses with the title, and we end the program. Stupid, stupid angle that I honestly don't think they can care about the content if they actually think people want to watch this. Anyway, till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.